Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make this mask. It's super duper easy. It doesn't have any elastic in it, it's just cotton and some fabric ties or cotton tape or ribbon, whatever you have to hand. So hopefully you've got everything just lying around in your house ready to get turned into a mask. It should take you, oh gosh, like 20 minutes. So let's go get started. So this mask is super easy and it doesn't have very many ingredients at all. Here I've got 2 cotton rectangles and they measure 6 inches by 9 inches. That's 15 centimeters by 23 centimeters. And I've also got 2 long cotton ties here and I've cut them so they're 120 centimeters long. That's 47 inches. Now this is bias tape. I found it in my stash. But if you don't have that, you could use something like a cotton tape here, or even if you've got some like spare ribbon going around, just check what you've got and see what you can work with and see what you've got that's long enough to make those ties. Let's get sewing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my 2 rectangles and I have pinned them face sides together. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew all the way around the edge, but leaving a gap on one side because we're going to need that gap to turn our square right side out. So if you sew all the way around, give yourself about a 1/2 inch, 1 centimeter seam allowance, and then we'll do the next step. Now, in case you haven't done a corner before, here's just a quick example of what you're going to do. So just stop about the same distance away from your edge as your seam is. Keep your needle lowered or lower it if it's come up. Lift up your foot and then you can just swing your piece round and lower your foot and just keep on sewing. That has been sewn all around the edge and here you can see where I've left my gap there, and I've also just trimmed my corners, but making sure to stay with a good distance from my actual stitching so I don't compromise my stitches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that hole and I am going to open it up and I'm going to flip my little mask right side out. And once it's been flipped the right side out, I'm going to go and I'm going to press all of my edges so that they lie nice and flat. When you flip it inside out, you might want to use a pencil or something like that just to poke into the corners to make sure they come out nice and pointy. You're going to leave your flap open for the time being. The next step will actually sew that down. But yeah, go and press all of your edges so that they're nice and flat. So now you've got your mask rectangle and it's been pressed nice and flat. And you're going to want to do your little tucks to make your pleats. And the pleats will mean that the mask can expand so that it covers your nose and your mouth. So here's what you do. You just, from about 1 inch from the top, just do a nice little fold. And see? That's what it looks like there. Just nicely tucked under and then back on itself. So do that first one. And then pin it down. There's one pin at the top and one at the side. And then you're going to do the same thing, but this time about 1 inch from the bottom. So just take that fabric and do your nice little tuck again. So you can see now it's kind of divided into 3. And so just get that all pinned down. You'll want your side edges to measure about 3 inches, about 8 centimeters. So just make sure that lines up nicely, get those pinned, and then press them down. So there's your mask pinned and pressed flat, and you can see it's got those nice pleats in it now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take your tape or ribbon or whatever it is you're using, and we're going to attach it 1 strip to each side. So a good idea is to take your tape and first fold it in half. Gosh, these are long, aren't they? So just first fold it in half so you've got the center, and then you can make sure that you line that up with the center of your mask so that you know they're nice and even. So we haven't stitched anything down yet for the pleats because we are going to pin the ribbon right on top, and then we're going to sew everything down all together. So find your center of your ribbon and then pin it down to the side, and then do the same with the other side, and then we will sew those down. Okie dokie, so there they are. I've sewed down my straps, and that has also sealed in my pleats, and it's also sealed that little gap that we left to turn our mask right side out. And so the top ties are great tied up and above the ears. And then the bottom ties are great tied at the back of the neck. And this mask I actually found a little bit more comfortable than the elastic one, to be honest, because you can tie it so it's nice and tight, but because it's all cotton, it still feels very soft on the skin. And the pleats mean that it expands really nicely to cover your nose and your mouth. So good luck and stay safe, enjoy your sewing, and be calm and kind. Thanks, guys.